Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Last Friday, the federal government of Canada took a very major action, and that was banning all handguns. They have made the purchase of any handgun a crime, and not only that, all imports are banned, and moreover, they have said that they have allocated $200 million to buy back the handguns from the people who already own them. Would they buy back only from the licensed holders, or even the illegally procured guns would be used? Now, the purpose of the ban was to reduce gun violence and show the number to have been reduced in circulation. Well, it's good because gun violence is on the increase. But the question arises, is shooting of the innocent people done by the registered and legally licensed weapons, or is done by the illegal weapons? Wasn't registration enough? Could some via media not be found that you license them after a thorough check? The way it's done, for example, even in India or in Pakistan, the background checks are conducted and then they are always followed up. This gun will bar anyone from buying, selling, transferring handguns within Canada, and it will also stop people from bringing new handguns into the country. That is the detail. And then the plea he took, Mr. Prime Minister, when he made the announcement was, Canadians have a right to feel safe in their homes, in their schools, and their places of worship. Absolutely right, Mr. Prime Minister. As far as the words go, they are really worthwhile. Each man's life, each limb that's lost is of utmost use, and the loss is a loss to the nation. So with the handgun violence increasing across the country, the Prime Minister felt it's his duty to take urgent action to remove those deadly weapons from the communities. Now, if you have a look in hindsight, you would find that the Trudeau first announced a new handgun sales policy in May, following the school shooting and the Buffalo supermarket shooting in USA. So something happens in USA and he thinks that the same thing is going to be repeated in Canada. I agree that prevention is better than cure. But when the prevention is such that it doesn't cure, rather it's going to increase the problem. We have seen what has happened with prohibitions with the banning. USA banned liquor, prohibition was there. The result was illicit liquor as well as increase in smuggling. So the people who were drinking were still thinking, but only they think was they were drinking either smuggled liquor or homemade liquor. Same happened in India, same happened in Pakistan. And the people dying of illicit liquor are much more in number than the people dying of the handguns. Now look at the handguns. People who own handguns and there is a proper system to register them, don't misuse them ordinarily. Now if the handguns are to be banned, the plea can be further taken. There have been cases when the people have been stabbed. There was recently a case that a guy in France took a mache and killed half a dozen people. Would you ban all the knives in the homes? Is that possible? There have been reports that the people have taken cars and used them as weapons, mowing down people. It has happened in France, it has happened in Germany, it has happened in India. Would we ban the cars? Why not? What is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. If one person misuses and you penalize a whole nation for that, it is something astonishing and not. Now, other than using firearms for sports shooting and hunting, there is no reason why anybody should need guns in their homes. So, hunting, now that's a major thing. If you ban handguns, are you not banning the sports? And in 2020, this very government had introduced rules to ban the AR-15, the automatic rifle, and other semi-automatic rifles. Fine, that's great. You don't need automatic rifles. You don't need semi-automatic rifles. Ban them. Now, it's worth noting that USA till today, despite all the mass shootings, has not banned. Canada has a stricter gun laws than the USA has. And with the strictest gun laws, they have thought it better to ban. That implies two things. Either the police in Canada is inefficient, that they cannot implement the existing rules, or the government doesn't have confidence in the people. In USA, the people have a constitutional right to bear arms. This country does not have. In USA, the ban could not have been imposed unless the Constitution was amended. But here it can be. Now, what is the situation is that they are members of the federal cabinet and they work at the direction of the Prime Minister. And they're very jealous, more loyal than the king. They have already banned hundreds of types of guns owned by the law-abiding citizen, but still they are not satisfied. And they are not learning by experience that no bans are successful. The Liberal election platform includes 200 millions in your money, in the taxpayers' money, to set aside to buy back those guns. Now, when the government buys back those guns, what will government do? You can't use those guns for the police, you can't use those guns for the army. So what you'll do, you'll export them to a third world country so that they can kill each other, they can indulge in mass murder. Would that be human? And then another thing to be noted. This policy was imposed without a vote in the House of Commons. Is it not negation of the parliamentary system? Until and unless the House passes a resolution, and it could have passed, it's not difficult, because this minority government is propped by its B team, the NDP. But laying out a policy which affects all the Canadians, whether they own guns or not. I don't own a gun, I don't need it. But it's wrong to impose without seeking the vote of the House of Commons. They knew that they'll get through, they could pass, but they were also aware that this will create unnecessary, according to them, discussion, and the people's opinion might be molded. On the top of spending $200 million to buy legally obtained ones, there's a guarantee that the Canadians would feel any safer, because this does not entail in any way any action to stop the illegally owned guns. What should have been done is, the registry should have been updated. People should have been asked to produce their guns, get them registered anew, and show that the licenses are for a certain period of time, not for all the times. Those guns can be inspected periodically by the police officers in the area, and in case they are misused ever, then the strict punitive actions can be taken. But I said till today, nobody has been able to show, barring a couple of cases, that it was a legally owned gun which was used in killing. And as I said, you can kill people by other means. But can you ban all those means? It's not possible. Then what would banning result in? As I said earlier, in the case of alcohol, the experience all over the world has been that wherever you have banned that alcohol, you have increased the use and also encouraged the illegal activity of smuggling. Gun runners, maybe that's the intent, which I'm sure it is not. Secondly, people who want to own guns will depend more on the smugglers and illicit means. Thirdly, those illicit owned guns might be homemade guns. In India, there's one sort of a handgun called katta, which is made in homes. And many times while firing it bursts and kills the shooter himself. It's akin to the illicit liquor. And that's a danger. Then the trust factor. Canadians by and large are a peaceful nation. They do not violate laws. And they do not in any way indulge in subversive activities. One of the most law-abiding nations is Canada. And to treat them in this way is definitely not showing that you trust those people. This only shows that the government doesn't trust the Canadians, doesn't trust their good sense, and is imposing its draconian measures. Now, draconian, why do I say? Already the government has taken various steps which are dictatorial in nature. And we know that the hero of the Honorable Prime Minister was Fidel Castro, and he is enamored of the Chinese system of administration. So is that motivating him to keep the people quiet from his point of view, and also ensure that in case of any unforeseen situation, people don't have the guns? But then he should be sure that the Canadians don't indulge in such activities. As I said, by nature they are extremely, extremely peaceful and law-abiding. Look at the way lockdowns were there. People would object. They wrote articles, they wrote letters, they appealed. But they did not violate the orders of the government. Whenever the government has taken and then I have seen all over the world, here an unarmed policeman can say, hey, stop, and the people would obey his directions implicitly. It won't happen in other countries. And that is why it is all the more disconcerting that you are imposing such laws which defeat their own end, are in fact self-defeating. As I said, a proper system could have been created. Now, what is going to be the effect of this? The people in the north, the people in the villages, the First Nations, they are getting enraged because that violates their sense of dignity. And these nations, these people, these tribes, the farmers, they need them. Can you imagine a farmer living far away from the people, not having a gun to protect his flock? You can't. And hunting is already permitted. So, if you permit the guns for hunting and you ban the handguns, Are you not contradicting yourself in some way or the other? The whole thing shows a befuddled thinking. And I feel that the government should have had consultations before coming up with this order. It should have submitted a bill to the House of Commons for discussion, sent it to the committee for detailed discussion, invited public consultation, and then if the majority of the people wanted it, yes, go ahead. After all, we are a democratic country and we don't want to be seen even as dictatorial. Perceptions are extremely important. And here the perception is that you doubt people, you do not have trust in them, and distrust breeds distrust. Mr. Trudeau should understand that. Such draconian measures are an insult to the nation, insult to the people, and are definitely not appreciable. Thank you.